today. Cross our fingers. All right, good morning. Thank you for being patient.
Good morning.
If you are on Zoom, please feel free to just interrupt because I am sitting down in class and teaching at the same time. And I like everyone to be interactive. So if I'm moving too fast, you have a question, you want me to go over something, you want me to, do something specific in here, I will. For those of you that don't know me, I am Tess Adams. I'm a team leader here at Keller Williams Empower. With the Tess Adams team, and I'm also one of our pro coaches, along with Bill Kelly. So this morning, as with advertised, we're going to talk about building your own inventory. And who in here is working with buyers and keeps getting their offer beat out? Yeah. I have clients all the way up in Bethlehem, and then I have two that are here in South Philly. And so it's safe to say from Bethlehem to South Philly, I'm realizing that it's pretty competitive. They're both in ranges from like 300,000 to 450, and we are not winning offers even without inspections and over ask right now. And I was like, geez. So when I get into situations like this with buyers, I literally go look for my own inventory or try to create it. And I use Bright MLS to do that. The reason why I go to Bright first is because we're already paying for it. I will preface this with there are any of other softwares, platforms that you can pay for outside of Bright to do this work for you. This is the frugal way to go get your own listing leads. This is the way to do it off the muscle yourself, not having to pay an extra monthly fee, and to go create inventory. So I'm going to use one of my South Philly clients and use the criteria that they are looking for right now in order to try to find some potential properties that I might be able to convince the owners to sell their house. And so I do that by going to search, and I'm going to look in public records. And I'm going to start to use filters to narrow down the specific property, area, type, etc. that my buyer is looking for. And so I'm going to use zip code. And I'm going to put in the view that in South Philly that she has to look for. As you can see, we have over 5,000 matches. I don't want to have to call 5,000 people, so we're going to narrow this down as much as possible for her criteria. I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to check off residential. Leave that alone. I want this to, I prefer it not to be corp owned. I do want it to be owner occupied, so I can more easily find the owners of the house. She does not want a condo, so I'm going to narrow that down. And I'm going to mark that it does not have a MLS record. You can choose to use ones that have been previously bought and sold on the MLS, but what I'm going to be narrowing down on this morning is I want to call owners who have lived in their house for so long that it's never been sold on the MLS. Meaning as long as we've had digital records online and had either Trend or we have right now, that they've not sold the property on record, meaning that they are in the highest probability that they might be willing to sell, and they have a lot of equity in their home, so it'll be easy to entice them to do so. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to scroll down here to rooms and put 3+. I'm going to put 2+ for bathrooms. And I know that she wants a full basement. So now we're down to 137 matches. That's a much more refined list and easier list to work with than 5,000. I could put sale amount, but we are going to be talking, it's going to be filtering the sale amount based on it not having an MLS record. Yasmin, you have your hand up?
I think I just filmed it. I was trying to find where you picked the has MLS record, but I see it. I found it.
Oh, you see it right here? Hold on.
Yep, I see it. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. No problem. So I'm going to go to results now. And the, if you have a buyer with very specific tastes, feel free to go through property features and further narrow it down. Like if they wanted central air or, you know, a patio or whatever their things are, you can refine this, for your own buyer. So I'm gonna go to results and see what we have here. And then obviously, I'm gonna refine it. These sale amounts, 0, are because these properties haven't had MLS record in literally forever. So I know, and you can also do your map display, because I know she wants to be as close to broad as possible. And hold on, if it decides it wants to work today. It's not. Oh, well, I don't know why map display doesn't work. So this is going to be now my list of potential inventory, potential listings. Anyone in here ever heard of the famous, quote unquote famous, Keller Williams golden letter?
No.
No, you guys never heard of golden letter? Are you?
No.
Oh,
I'm going on fully opens.
oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you can literally Google. Oh, now that one's working. It's just being slow. Okay, so now I'm gonna narrow it down to properties that are close to Broad Street here. So, Keller Williams, Gary Keller, forever and ever ago, way before I even meet Keller Williams, which I'm in my about to be in my 4th year as a KW agent. Has this templated letter that he calls the golden letter. A lot of agents have found themselves to be very successful in getting listing leads using this letter. Essentially, the letter is like, hey there, I have qualified buyers in your neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Would you be willing to sell your house? Blah, 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 has lots of equity, blah, 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 blah. Right? It's more refined. You can redo it. I suggest use OpenAI or ChatGPT to refine it, because the language is a little dated. It's a little 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you want to make it to your own voice and style. I jazz mine up for my personal team and my own personal use, and I call it an equity campaign letter versus a golden letter. And I really specifically tailor the letter to whomever I'm sending it to. I run comps for that specific listing and let them know that they may have $100,000 of equity in their current home. They may have $200,000 in equity in their home, and are they at a place of life where they'd like to capitalize and get a return on their investment? Does this make sense? Yeah, is your hand still up? We have a new question, or you just left it up? Oh, I told you sure. I don't know if they ignore you. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure. I want to make sure I was take care of you. So, this is my first point of contact with sending this letter.
Yeah.
Because you are going to know the owner's address, because all these properties, I said owner occupied, so we know they live there. So I'm going to send the letter out. I'm going to give a couple days for this letter to go out, so that when I go knock on their door or leave a door hanger on their doorknob, it's not the first time they're seeing me. I'm not a complete stranger, right? They're going to see my little letter and my business card and my face on there and be like, oh, that's that Tess girl that sent me that junk mail. Yeah, right? That's that Tess real estate agent that sent me this junk mail talking about, will I sell my house for all this money? She has qualified buyers, blah, 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 blah. But it's my first touch. And we know that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to touch these potential, I call them contacts until I have a good conversation, then I call them leads. So these contacts, you want to reach out and touch them in as many ways as possible so that you're warming them up, right? So I sent out my golden letter, and I promise if you Google it, there's even YouTube videos about the KW golden letter. I'm going to, my next touch is one of two things. I'm either going to skip trace this address. I use batchskiptracing.com. Now there's PropStream, there is Seller, something or another. There's all these different platforms that you can pay monthly fees. I do not sit down personally and do this enough on a monthly basis to pay for another monthly service outside of Bright and Commands and all that. So I use batchskiptracing.com because it's 9 cents per record, and you only get charged if you actually get phone number, email address, or something back on the owner. If it's just the mailing address, you won't get charged. Does that make sense? And they also run promotions for like 35% off. So it's like 5 cents to get this information. Totally batch skip tracing. So I will skip trace the address of the owner so I can get any phone numbers that are associated with this address and any email addresses. Because my next couple touches is going to be phone calls and emails. What else?
No, I did this for an item.
What? Some people sell those online, especially if they're this old. These people in these homes are seasoned. These are our grandmothers and grandfathers because they've lived in this home so long it doesn't have an MLS record, right? So we are talking to seasoned individuals. They might still be in the white pages, right?
Right.
I don't have time for all that, so I just go straight to my little system, right? Because we all want to have a system. In any lead generation endeavor you have, you want to have a recorded system, and you have to do the same thing for an extended period of time to find out if it works or not. If you don't, you have too many variables in your little experiment. You can't tell what works and what doesn't. So I'm going to go this batch skip tracing. I'm going to have the owner's name, phone number, email address potentially. So now I'm calling and I'm emailing. And the first thing that you guys usually say is, well, what do I say? You say the same thing that was in the letter you sent. It's about consistency. Again, we're not changing too many variables. Your message is the same. Obviously, you're not going to read your letter, but the tone and your overall goal and the topic of your conversation is the equity in their home, and that you have a buyer that potentially be interested in purchasing their home. Are they interested to sell? Oh, and also, by the way, if you're worried about where you're going to go next, I can also help you with that. Right? And so that is going to be your second touch, your third touch. If they, entertain you for these couple touches, maybe you don't have a yes yet, but they haven't told you to completely F off. They have not said, do not call, do not disturb. Then you're going to continuously, we're going to put them on a smart plan, right? So that your command is now doing more touches for you until they get completely warmed up to the idea. Also, if you do door knock or you leave a door hanger, I'm going to ask if I can come see the property. Can I come check it out? If you're open, if you're at least thinking about allowing my buyer to submit an offer, or thinking about putting this up for sale, can I take a look at the property? Because now you have a better idea of the condition of the home, and now you can narrow in those generalized comps you ran initially, right? Because until you actually put eyes on the house, you can't say for sure what their sale price is going to be and exactly how much equity they have. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to do that. And I hate that they give me a whole hour for this class because literally this is the crux of it. Usually I get a lot of questions. So, for example, this 1316 Annan Street, Philadelphia. Now I do a few more steps of just research because there's no MLS record, right? So that means there's no photos online, right? Unless they sold it on the market or something like that. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this address and see if I can get one of those really cool Google 360 pictures. Oh, let me put this. I don't have to say exactly where it's located. Look, they don't put new construction here.
Like, hey, it's just part of the life.
And we were looking at 1316. This is pulling up 1312. I'm going to do that. But let's say 13. This is going to be probably 14. 16 might be on the end. So obviously they put up new construction, and they sold it not on the MLS. And they have garages over here. So you're definitely gonna have to go door knock this one because in this specific case, you're finding out it's not the old house that grandma and grandpa lived in. They already tore it down, right? So let me close this. You look up another one. This one's kind of close. Let's see what this is. 1523 South Carlisle. Now, some of you super tech people are going to test. I'm not doing this. I'm going to use prop stream. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm all for it. I am the PC coach. And most of my agents are brand new. They don't have real estate money yet. So they need to do stuff. So this is 1523. Here is a perfect example of what I mean right here. This is the original building. This is probably 1925, something or another. 1923. I was 2 years old. gas, full basement. You say 3 and 2, boom, super excited. So this is literally the ideal property that I need, that someone has lived in forever, quote unquote. Let me see, since Benitez and Brett have served in here, right? So this is what I'm gonna reach out to, and I'll be like, hey, any chance you wanna sell your house? Potentially sell it for whatever the comps tell me, right? I have a buyer that's very interested. They might, they might say, let's see. What usually happens when I go live, they say, come talk to me with an offer in hand. And I'm like, well, I can't do that unless you agree to pay me. It's not listed. So you might get a double ender, right? I don't really like to do that for liability reasons. I always put somebody on my team's name on the other side. It doesn't matter to me who does what, but you know, that's the ideal scenario. We all want to be on the buy and sell side so we get that full commission, right? Yeah, can you get your hand up again?
Yes. Question. So I'm looking at this and I see it says 2018 on the picture. So in that instance, do you create a map and ride through some of these neighborhoods before you start anything? Like when you get to this part to see if the homes are still the same? Because
I'm putting a door hang. So like some people, you will see, especially seasoned agents, they're like, oh, door knocking, door hangers, that's like too time consuming, it's too much this, it's too much that. It so much puts you face to face with your potential client, right? And also you have the actual view, just like I have come across listings where I'm on the buy side where one of my agents is, and I find out that the listing agent has actually never stepped foot in that house. So they put a house up for sale without actually knowing the true condition or walking through the house. Mind blowing. 0 stars, do not recommend. But it happens every day, guys. It happens with some of the so-called big name agents we have. That's why their volume's so high, because they're not actually doing what they need to do. They're not riding around doing the stuff, right? So I definitely, whether it's me or I have someone on the team, definitely on that neighborhood. I'm going to put a door hanger. I'm going to, knock on the door, drop off my business card. I want to see the neighborhood because also I need to know what that block looks like for my client. You know what your client wants and what they don't want, where they want to live, where they don't want to live, and how can you actually have a conversation with your client and you not put your own eye if you don't know for sure, right? So I highly recommend right out to that area. You guys on the screen, December 70s, are not in PC, but the way that I coach my agents is to say, you need to be a local area expert. You need to find your niche area along with your niche client because you really need to know the geographic area, the neighborhood where you're working. That makes you the local area expert. That's how you cement yourself in a community. It doesn't even have to be a community where you live. You might live in Northeast and be like, nah, I don't want to play around up here. It's highly competitive. There's 5,000 agents in a square mile. I want to go down to, I don't know, West Philly. I want to be in Brewery Town. I want to be here or there, right? You just have to be familiar with the businesses and the business owners in that area. You need to know what each block looks like, and you need to comb the inventory. Like now I know that by looking at the results in this map, I get back to it. You can see where there's little clusters of people that have been here forever, or possibly new construction that was done on market, right? So I can tell what's going on in this neighborhood. If you zoom out, you can see how densely populated. Look at this huge section here where there's no listings. That means all this stuff has been turned over. See what I'm saying? Now you're making macro level, observations. Right, and then you can go into, because we all know after you get out of East Paseo, you have Little Saigon, Bella Vista here, like the whole neighborhood is different, and you know your client where they want to be, right? And you can make observations about the neighborhood. Look at all these houses; these people have been here forever. Jasmine, did I answer your question? Okay, cool.
yes, you did.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it is when you're going to make your own inventory, you want to center in on at least a neighborhood, right? Or maybe a specific zip code. If you're an agent that likes to be out in the burbs, you can do the same thing out in the burbs. Let me see, and I'll show you what that looks like. Let's do Glen Mills. Somebody give me a burbs area code or zip code. 19118. Where's that at? I guess we're about to find out. Look, we have nine matches. Let's see where we're at. So we're gonna build. All right, hold on. Let me see. That is, I live. What time is it? I live. Oh gosh, where did you live? When what? What did I say?
I'm not gonna sit there.
Where? You know where? I want like
I just did like.
No, no, I'm just saying, yeah, where's the parks out there too? What's that?
19078.
19078.
Oh, 100.
Oh, here we go, 116, okay, let's see what that looks like, let's see where I'm at. Alright, so now, we traveled south on 95 a little bit, going towards Delaware, and so these are, the listings that match my client's criteria as far as bedrooms, bathrooms, residential, has no MLS record, and so we're going to, there's actually a good number. So here's Ridley Park. A lot of people like to live in this area because of the public transportation. A lot of people get on this train in the morning to come into Philly to work. So let's check out these listings. No public records, 305, Morton Ave. And let's go Google this, see what it looks like. Patrick and Marine are the owners right now. And I would go through the same process, whether you're in the burbs or in the city, you still are gonna wanna get the owner's information, right? Oh, cute. Obviously this whole picture. But, now you know, like, kind of what the property looks like, neighborhood. Guess what? When I go out for this specific property, I'm putting door hangers or leaving, business cards or door knocking, this whole little area. This is a walkable neighborhood, right? Super walkable. Kill all the birds with one stone. You never know what will happen while you're out here doing that. So if my client wanted me in Ridley Park, this would be one of the targeted properties that I would reach out to build my own inventory. And why it's called building your own inventory is because these houses are currently not listed for sale. These people are chilling in their homes, minding their business, and you're about to go disturb them. So keep that in mind, right? So you're gonna approach this gingerly. The other thing, as far as what we study it, like, it's not like you don't have qualified buyers, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just trying to drum up some listings. It's okay because somebody does. And where are we all right now? Keller Williams and Power. There's over 1,000 agents in our brokerage. Somebody here got a buyer. So when you put it up for sale, somebody here is going to have a buyer, right? So whether it's you and the seller doesn't know them, and you're not necessarily lying. There are qualified buyers that want their house. As soon as they put it for sale, one will pop up, right? Does anyone work with a buyer right now that you want to go through a specific criteria?
Yeah, I'm working with $1 county.
You have a hard time finding something.
We just started and they're kind of weeks later this summer, but yeah, they're
Yeah.
summer. A little more rare.
All right, so I am going to clear all of our criteria here because I did zip code. You know what another thing is? School district. School district, and I live in Lower Marion now, and you guys, I've only lived in Philadelphia for 1 full year, and so I'm in my second year of being in the Philadelphia area, and I had no idea what I was doing with my poor son when we lived down in Roxborough, and I descended to public school. That kid toughed it out for a whole year, and I was like, okay, we can't stay here, we gotta go to different school. So, not knowing what I was getting myself into again, I didn't realize that Lower Marion County schools are like one of the most sought after school districts in our entire state, and I was like, oh, look what God did, right? So I've had clients that have said, I'm gonna be in, I think it's called Trenton. Somebody correct me, I'm not Philadelphia, I think it's called Trenton School District. That's another highly sought out school district. Yeah, Trenton or whatever. Yeah, something like that. Listen, correct me because I don't know how to pronounce half of those. You don't even tell me how I pronounce Schuylkill or whatever. I said like Schuylkill for years, okay? I had no idea. So in Delaware, but I have couple Delaware agents in here. Brandywine School District versus Red Clay is a big thing, right? So if you have a buyer that you said they have children and they're concerned about the school district, well, who cares about the zip code? I'm going to put the school district in here, right? And say, okay, we're going to be in Lower Marion. Let me say maybe we don't want Corbo. That's just different, I might know. They don't wanna be in a condo, yes, they want it owner occupied. Maybe they have a big family, they want to be 4+ bedrooms, they want, 3+ bathrooms. They want a full basement, so that can have a man cave, they must have central air. Let me see, they want,
I have a quick question, I'm sorry.
no, go right ahead.
If it was never listed on the MLS, how does the MLS know they have such a fair person?
Take a look.
That's what I mean.
So when you pick these, it's for what is available. If it's not available, it's just gonna be matching whatever other criteria they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, it is connected to public records, so public records will know bathrooms and bedrooms
Yeah.
and square footage. But whether they upgrade it or not,
Exactly.
they're not gonna know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always say this to my agents too, is the MLS is literally as good as the humans that are entering information into it. So some people are like, well, the MLS said, and I'm like, nobody cares. It is like a research tool at best. To think that it's like stamped and approved, Bible, what you need to go off of, don't do that to yourself, right? But no, you're absolutely right about it not knowing what has been updated. And maybe, let's see if we can get really picky here. They want a deck. 0 matches, no, they're not getting a deck.
I think they need a system.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that too. 9-14, let's see if you can get them a deck. No, the deck is killing the deal. So that just means that there's literally not one single listing out of these 914 that checked off that it had a deck. That doesn't mean there's no decks. That means that it's not checked off, right? So I don't want to look at 914 listings. So let's do garage. Yes. Dang. Lower Marion is not playing around. Let's see if we can do garage spaces. Oh wow. Lower Marion is wow. Let me see. Exterior, we do brick. Oh wow. See, this is what you find out. Brickstone.
And parking.
No.
Try the parking spaces.
Parking spaces.
Yeah, because there's a lot of driveways out there.
Hold on. Where do you even see that at? I have my glasses on today. I can't even. Oh, we would have to add. This is how you add fields, by the way. If there's a certain way that you want to filter, if you don't see it on your initial screen there, you go to add fields, and now you could add basement, yes or no. You could do let me see, parking will be down here. Garage spaces, historic ID, there's no historic house off of that. Oh, I don't even see it on there. Maybe Lower Marion doesn't have them. Stories, oh, maybe we could do that. So they want a single story house, and then when you go to the back, it should be down here at the bottom. See? And we could say we just want one. So that would be ranches. Boom, there we go, now we narrowed it down. Now we're gonna find a ranch house in Lower Marion. Right? And so now we have our list of addresses. I'm gonna look at the map. Because maybe I know what area they prefer to be in. Right, maybe they don't want to go this far out to the country, so stay over here. Check this address out, 121 Rue Lane, Marion Station. So again, I'm just gonna pull up a Google so I can get some kind of idea, hopefully, what the house looks like, the neighborhood. You can look on Zillow and see all that raw information. You cul-de-sac. That's usually a big deal. They're like, I'm gonna cul-de-sac, it's like the fence, right? We get that all the time. All right. So depending on your client and what they're, interested in, this might be a viable property for them, right? Also, you can go back and see if something happened off market. Currently not for sale. 3,687 square feet. This house is going to be like over $1 million. Oh, look, I just said it. Right. So if that's in your client's budget, great. If not, if you want to narrow your search down by, you want to put a price in there because you're like, my client, they're not going to pay more than X amount of dollars. You might want to see that we do less than 350. Now we have 76 refills.
right? So let's go check these out. You see. As you can see, that other house is gone, right, that we're looking at. Let's check out 298. Now we are what some people call cooking with grease. Now we're at least in a vicinity. The house is hidden. Now you gotta crawl up a scary, here's their driveway. We gotta crawl up a scary driveway and go put a door hanger on the door. Pray they don't have a dog or something else, right? That's where real estate gets real, is what I always say. Does this make sense? Does this make sense?
Has anyone ever tried this yet?
Or nothing?
I've done something like it, and I treat people search them.
Yeah.
The only question that I have is, I don't, like, I kind of do the same thing, like when I call them again, qualified buyers, blah, blah, blah. My thing is I'm always afraid of them saying, oh, who's the buyer? Or,
Yeah.
you know, like get specific on the buyer or bring them with you.
Yeah.
So what is like your rebuttal to that?
Yeah, I say, well, there's a couple things you could say. You could be like, well, I would love to bring one to you, so you can meet them, and I've totally taken another agent. I've totally taken another agent and like this potential buyer. Am I lying? They can buy the house if they felt like it. If they don't, there is many ways to get around it. There's many ways to get around it. You can take a friend, be like,
Okay.
oh, here's my, hey, can you come with me? I'll buy lunch and I need to pretend like you want to buy this house for a second. It could come as you want it.
Right.
You're not doing anything wrong. You have nothing signed. This is not your client. You're not
Right.
robbing. Don't rob them. Right? You're
Right.
not doing anything crazy. You're trying to get them to put their house up for sale because guess what? Even if they saw the buyer you walked in with, a million things can happen to make a buyer all of a sudden unqualified to buy that house. They gotta get a mortgage. They gotta do this or that.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I'm so sorry that one fell through, but hey, you know, there's X amount of other buyers out here, and you know, we'll get you what you want. I mean, they're usually, I have never gotten someone angry with me over this before, even if I wasn't exactly 1,000% honest about my qualified buyer, right?
Okay.
I've never had one get mad. Yes. Mark.
You know what happened? Like the this, what's that, I moved to the person they were getting sons, that they end up, it was commercial property.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was, and that's why I used the building, but then I'll ask them, hey, is there anybody else that you know, that in mind?
Yeah.
Like, actually, I was mine right now,
Yeah.
and I told them, they had it up for rent. And the rent came, well, I didn't know that you wanted to sell it. So I don't confused, all right?
Yeah.
We don't even think we'll sell it.
Yeah, when you are going through this and you get your list, right, of potential, like, these are the properties that those other platforms and softwares tell you are they put them in the red and say most likely to sell. This is what they're doing behind the scenes and charging you monthly for. So it just depends on your workload, on your systems, on your business. If you want to take the time to do this legwork, or you want to pay somebody else to do it. There's no right or wrong. It depends what fits into your. I have someone on the team that is specifically tasked to just do this now, right? So I have one person on the team, her name is Lenny, and she is putting these leads into my team members' command every day now and assigning them to people and saying, hey, they could be hot to sell. So she's doing that initial step, doing the skip trades. You know, I'm paying for it as a team leader to get the information and then giving it to people on my team so that they can try to get these listings, right? Whatever comes out of that is on them, you know what I mean? But I've never had anyone mad. I've like said, you know what, you know, they're very interested. You can take a look to see, and then you know maybe they take time. Maybe they didn't like the layout of the house. Maybe it needed significant work, and that was more work than they were anticipating because it's so outdated. It's a grandma special. Everyone knows what grandpa special is for a house, right? Those are a lot of people's favorites, especially when you have buyers that are willing to do the updated work themselves, right? Because grandma specials are homes that are well maintained. I had a grandma that had plastic on the stove. We weren't allowed to actually sit in that room. I don't even know what ever happened in the formal living room. I've never seen her sit there or do anything. It was just pretty, right? We weren't allowed in there. But grandma specials, bones of the house are good. The layout is probably awesome. It just still has shag carpet and textured wallpaper and gold and frosted glass chandeliers coming out. So you guys catch my vibe,
Yeah.
right? So that is what that is. And those are like investors, awesome opportunities. Those are, you know, home buyers who are handy or wanting to make something their own. Those are perfect opportunities. But also those houses are the ones when they've been there 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they have the most equity built in them. It gives you the most leverage in your conversation to talk about them cashing in. It should be damn near retirement time, right? Are they gonna stay in this 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house, it's just the 2 of them? Or maybe there's the one's already widowed. One thing I learned leaving Wilmington and coming to Philadelphia is that there's so many widowed females living in these 1920 built houses by themselves that have been there over 30 years. I don't know why all the husbands die first in Philadelphia, but almost all my listings, I have a bunch of listings I've done this year that are all under about 150, right? And they have been in the house for 30 plus years and they buy themselves, there's 3, 4 bedrooms, whatever, and they don't even go up to the 3rd floor anymore, right? They can't, maybe they had their hip replaced, they have a little chairs going up the stairs. And I'm like, wow, all these widowed women are living here and it's ready, it's not for them to go downsize or go to assisted living or what have you know what I mean? So that's why we also have wholesale issues in Philadelphia because there's so many of these properties. So wholesalers will come in and basically rob grandma and send her off on her merry way to go live with family and flip the house, you know? So that happens here too. But when you're out creating these lists and you start making these phone calls, you start sending these emails, you will get other business opportunities from it. If you went after thinking you're gonna try to get this listing, and you might get a buyer out of it. They might say, you know what, we really just wanna stay here till we die, and, but our kids are renting and looking for a place. Or maybe the kids still live in that house and are trying to prepare themselves to buy their first home. You do not know what type of business is gonna drum up from going through these actions. And I'm saying actions instead of emotions because not completing action items is what makes or breaks you guys around being really busy in real estate or not having a pipeline. Because a lot of people come to class and like know what they need to do, but there's like a speed bump. There's like a hurdle for them to actually sit down and do it. Like to sit down and do this is a little bit tedious. And have them make a bunch of phone calls can be like unnerving or uncomfortable or whatever. I don't make phone calls. I'm gonna email these people. I would rather go knock on their door as a complete stranger than pick up the phone and talk to a stranger. I have no problem knocking on someone's door and be like, hey, you know, hey, any chance, you know, can I leave this with you? Take your golden letter and hand it to them, you know, or leave it in the door versus mailing it. Then you save on postage too. Also, I was trying to get some of these steps in every week this year, and I'm exercising and lead generating, getting out in the sun, all at the same time. I'm killing all the birds with one stone, right? So we can get our personal health and fitness put into here, and I feel like I'm really accomplishing something.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Is the letter, do you prefer it to be handwritten or typed? Is it okay?
So I write in hieroglyphics, I've been told, meaning my handwriting is absolute trash. So I don't have a choice but to type it.
Okay,
I will handwrite the envelope.
yeah, okay.
So on the outside, I will handwrite the envelope. I might take blue ink and sign my name against the black type so they know I actually did touch it and I care. If I had beautiful handwriting, I probably would condense the letter so it's not so long and maybe handwrite it. So if you do have good handwriting, having a more personal touch, I know does go a long way. They feel like it's not this, I know it does go a long way. I've met other agents who are super successful that they do the little handwritten note cards and letters and stuff. I know that in this day and age of everything being typed and automated, people do really appreciate that. The generation of people you're going to be finding in these type of homes with the no MLS record and owner occupied are going to really appreciate that. So my overall answer is yes, if you can. If not, it doesn't mean that typing it is not going to work, but they do appreciate it for sure.
What do you put on the envelope? The address, or you just put homeowner or something?
Well, when you check off owner occupied, 99% of the time you're going to be on the money with one of the people who are still going to be living homes listed there. So you're okay with doing that. You can put their name or current resident so that the mail people don't send it back.
Okay,
Yeah. So if you put like Tess Adams for current resident, they'll still deliver it even if the name doesn't match. Yeah, it is a lot to.
and you put your business card in there?
Yeah. And let me tell you something. I really like technology. I'm not an anti-tech person. And I like the digital business cards and everything. But let me tell you the downside to that and why I still want printed business cards all the time. When someone touches, we touch phones, we're pretending these are phones, and we're like, and it puts the information in the phone. You just got put into someone's phone with, I have 5,000 contacts in my iPhone. I can't find you later. I'm not remembering your name, you had a networking thing, you just tap it. If you give me your card though, and I throw it in my purse, I'm gonna see you again when I clean my purse out, I'm searching for a piece of gum or my lip gloss or whatever, you will disappear. When you just tap yourself into someone's phone and you did not leave a good enough impression for them to find you, what if they forget your name? They're not gonna find you later. So as easy as it is, and as often as it is to be able to do that, the printed old school business cards still go a long way. Don't think that you don't need those, right? Those are super important. As cool as technology is, that tap stuff, you can get lost in the sea of contact already in someone's phone and don't remember it. Especially if you go to a networking event, you might tap into 10 different people. I'm not remembering it. Not remembering it. And I wouldn't expect you to remember me either, right? But if I hand you a card, you can see it more than one time, then that's more than one touch that you put on that person, more than one impression, right?
And the older
Oh, 1,000%. They might have a flip phone. They might not even have a cell phone. Some of these people are still gonna have house phones. All right? I'm from the era that we had the house phone in the kitchen and we had the really long cord so we could think we were out of earshot of our parents while we were trying to talk on the phone, right? I remember being on the phone in the kitchen and then it would be late at night, I'm talking on the phone, I would fall asleep laying on the kitchen counter. Talking on the phone. From that era, back in the day. And it was the clear phones with you could see all the little circuits and stuff on the inside. That's how old I am. So you remember that, we were the same. Do you have any questions on Zoom? Are people, did you turn your screen off because you're already doing it? You're like, okay, Tess, shut up, I'm gonna go do this now so I can get things.
Did you say?
Hold on 1 second.
What is the target number that you want to have again?
The target number is whatever you feel comfortable working with. I would want to concentrate on probably like, you want to kind of work backwards. If you have a budget, you plan on mailing these things, I don't know what your budget is, so
I'd say it's good. Well, not,
yeah, I'm probably going to work keep it like 50 or less, not for nothing, and try to really pound those 50 or less locations, because that's all I physically am going to be able to handle.
it's something we. It's like trying to find, basically narrow things down.
Yeah.
It's never gets the set out.
It said, is there an MLS record? And it just means it's never been listed for sale on the MLS, which gives you a high chance that that the owners that bought it way back in the day. Yeah. Let's go to criteria. And you scroll down, and it says right here, it has an MLS record if you put no. Now you might find right here. Yep. You might find that, like you ran into the first one, I found that it was actually new construction, which means that the house was probably torn down, it was probably a vacant lot forever, and then some developer came and without an agent, without putting on the MLS, built a new house and sold by the sign of the or whatever, right? So you will run into that as well. But that the second property we looked up was your ideal situation for listing lead generating, because it was the original building. It hadn't been sold on the MLS, it was owner occupied, so I know I can directly contact. If you don't check off owner occupied, like if you leave it blank or you put no, that means it could be a rented out building, and now when you go knock on the door, you're not talking to the owner, you're talking to a tenant, and they can't help you. Tenant can't help you. You might have referred them to a first time home buyer, but they're not gonna be able to give you the listing you desire. Right, and then you could possibly ask them for the owner's information, but now you just added an extra step. So when I'm doing this for myself, off the muscle like this, I'm going to try to get as many hurdles as I can elsewhere. Someone had a question online on Zoom. Oh, you're muted. I heard something. Okay. You guys are good. Anyone else? And I'll turn it over for the next class. Good. Huh? Good. We're gonna go generate some listing leads. I promise you it works. You gotta put them to work in, but I promise you it works.
I'm writing my golden letter now.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. There is another market center class at 1 o'clock and one at 2 o'clock. So you have like an hour break with all your lunch, okay?